You have no job. You have no money. You have no thing. You obey me now.
Go to the kitchen to prepare food for my quest.
The walk from the CEO's office to the parking lot felt like a death march. Obinna Maduka carried the slim manila envelope containing his termination letter, his company ID card, and a check for his final pay. 12 years. 12 years of early mornings, late nights, missed family gatherings, and climbing the corporate ladder, one rung at a time, all reduced to a single piece of paper. At 39, Obinna had finally made senior operations manager at Trans Global Logistics. It wasn't just a job. It was his pride, his identity, proof that the boy from Nsukka who'd sold oranges to pay for secondary school had become somebody. His mother had cried with joy at his last promotion. His wife Chidinma had finally stopped complaining about their apartment being too small. But this morning, everything had shattered. Mr. Maduka, please sit down. Mr. Okonkwo, the CEO, had gestured to the chair across from his massive mahogany desk. His face was grave. Beside him sat Mrs. Adeyemi from HR and Mr. Chun, the company's legal counsel. Obinna's stomach had twisted. This wasn't a normal meeting. We've discovered a serious breach of confidentiality, Mr. Okonkwo began, sliding a folder across the desk. Our new shipping route optimization strategy, the one worth approximately $40 million in competitive advantage, was leaked to Meridian Logistics. They submitted a proposal to the Port Authority that's nearly identical to ours, 2 weeks before our official launch. Obinna had opened the folder with shaking hands. Inside were screenshots of emails, documents he recognized immediately. His documents, his work. Sir, I don't understand. These are from our internal strategy meetings, but I never... The leak came from your email account, Mr. Maduka. Mrs. Adeyemi's voice was cold. These documents were sent from your work email to an external address at 2:47 a.m. on the 15th of last month. We've traced the IP address. It came from within this building, from a computer logged in with your credentials. That's impossible. Obinna had stood up, his heart hammering. I wasn't even here at 2:47 a.m. I was at home sleeping. I've never sent these documents to anyone. Sir, you know me. 12 years I've worked here. I've never... We know your record. Obinna. Mr. Okonkwo's use of his first name somehow made it worse, which is why we're not pursuing legal action. But we can't overlook this. The evidence is clear. Only 5 people had access to these documents, and the leak came from your account. Someone must have stolen my password. Sir, please, I swear on my mother's life. We've conducted a full investigation. Mr. Chun had spoken for the first time, his voice clinical. Your password hasn't been changed in 6 months. There's no evidence of hacking. The access patterns match your typical work schedule, except for that one night. But I didn't do this. Obinna's voice had cracked. The board has made its decision. Mr. Okonkwo stood. Effective immediately, your employment is terminated. Out of respect for your years of service, we're not filing criminal charges. But you need to understand, we've lost that Port Authority contract. $40 million. Hundreds of jobs. We can't let you stay. The rest had been a blur. Security escorting him to pack his desk. Colleagues avoiding eye contact. Adiz, a junior analyst he'd mentored, had tears in her eyes but couldn't speak to him. Whispers followed him through the corridors. Now, sitting in his 7-year-old Honda in the parking lot, Obinna stared at the termination letter. His hands trembled. How? How did this happen? He'd never sent those emails. He'd never even thought about betraying the company that had given him everything. His phone buzzed. Chidinma, are you coming home for lunch? I made your favorite. Obinna's throat tightened. His wife. Yes. Chidinma would understand. She'd comfort him. They'd figure this out together. He'd tell her everything, and she'd hold him and tell him it would be okay. He drove home in a daze, barely remembering the turns. Their 2-bedroom apartment in Lekki Phase 1 had always felt like an achievement. Now it felt like a prison he could no longer afford. Chidinma was in the living room when he entered, scrolling through her phone. She looked up and something flickered across her face. Was it surprise? Why would she be surprised to see him when she just texted asking when he'd be home? Obinna, you're early. She set her phone face down on the couch. What's wrong? He collapsed into the armchair, the termination letter crumpling in his fist. Gee, something terrible happened. What? Her voice was flat, not concerned. Obinna was too distraught to notice. I lost my job. The words felt unreal. They said I leaked company secrets. But I didn't. Gee, I swear to God, I didn't do it. Someone used my email account. Someone set me up. Silence. Obinna looked up, expecting to see shock, sympathy, anything. Instead, Chidimma's face was cold, eerily calm. They fired you? She asked slowly. Yes, this morning. I don't understand how this happened. The leak came from my account, but I never. So you lost your job. She stood up, arms crossed. The job you've been bragging about for 12 years. The job that was supposed to make us rich, but somehow we're still in this small apartment. That job. Obinna blinked, confused by her tone. Gee, I need you right now. I know this is scary, but we'll figure out. I'll find another position. My record is clean except for this. Your record is clean? Chidimma laughed, a harsh sound that made Obinna's blood run cold. Obinna, your record is destroyed. You think any company will hire you after corporate espionage? You think your name isn't already spreading through every HR department in Lagos? It wasn't espionage. I was set up. Were you? She tilted her head, studying him like a specimen. Or maybe you finally decided to cash in, sell some secrets for money and got caught. How can you say that? Obinna stood, hurt blooming in his chest. You know me. You know I would never. I know you're a failure. The words hit like a slap. I know I've been waiting for 12 years for you to become the man you promised you'd be, the provider, the husband who would give me the life I deserve. But you're still the same struggling boy from Nsukka, aren't you? Just with a fancy title that you couldn't even keep. Obinna felt the room spin. Gee, please. I just lost everything. I need you. We're supposed to be a team. A team? She laughed again. Obinna, I'm tired. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of pretending that you're enough. Maybe if you were man enough to provide properly, you wouldn't be so easily replaced. I'm tired of waiting for you to become somebody. Each word was a knife. What are you saying? Chidimma picked up her phone, checked something, then looked back at him with eyes that had gone completely cold. I'm saying I've been making arrangements. I've been preparing for this. Actually, for the day when you'd finally reveal yourself as the disappointment I always suspected you were. Preparing? What arrangements? I'm taking over the bills now. She said it matter-of-factly. The rent, the food, everything. I've got it covered. You should be grateful. Actually, most women would leave a jobless husband. But I'm willing to keep you around. Keep me around? Obinna's voice was barely a whisper. Gee, I'm your husband. A husband provides. She walked toward the bedroom, then paused at the door. You don't provide anymore. So what are you exactly? She disappeared into the bedroom and closed the door. Obinna heard the lock click. He stood in the living room of the home he could no longer afford, holding a termination letter for a crime he didn't commit, and realized that the worst part of this day wasn't losing his job. It was realizing he didn't recognize his wife anymore. Or maybe, and this thought hit him like ice water, maybe he'd never really known her at all. Oh my God, did his wife just call him a failure when he came home devastated? After 12 years of marriage, this is how she treats him. If this is making you angry, smash that like button and subscribe to Africantales by Zion. Drop a comment. Would you ever treat your spouse like this? Next chapter shows how much worse it gets, and you won't believe how cruel she becomes. Share this story. Turn on notifications. Obinna had sent out 47 job applications. He'd received 3 responses, all rejections. The word had spread faster than he'd imagined possible. Corporate espionage followed his name like a shadow. Former colleagues stopped returning his calls. His LinkedIn profile, once filled with recommendations, was now toxic, but the professional humiliation was nothing compared to what waited for him at home. Chidinma had taken over completely. She paid the rent on the first of the month, making sure Obinna was present when she handed cash to their landlord. "Don't worry, Mr. Obi," she'd said sweetly. "I'm handling everything now. My husband is, between opportunities." The landlord had looked at Obinna with barely concealed pity. She bought the groceries, kept the receipts, and left them on the kitchen counter where Obinna couldn't miss them. Sometimes she'd mention the cost casually. 30,000 naira for food this week. You're welcome. The apartment that had been their shared home became her territory. She reminded him constantly that she was paying for it. "Don't leave the AC on all day," she'd say. "Electricity is expensive. Since I'm the one paying NEPA now, we need to be conscious. Or, we can't afford DSTV Premium anymore. I've downgraded to basic. You'll have to make do with fewer channels." Each comment was a reminder. You're useless. You're dependent. You should be grateful. But the worst part was the nights. Chidinma started coming home late. First, it was 7 p.m., then 8, then 10. She'd arrive smelling of expensive cologne. Not the cheap one Obinna used to wear, but something rich, musky, foreign. "Where were you?" Obinna asked one evening after she walked in at 10:30 p.m. She looked at him like he was a child who'd asked a stupid question. "Working." "Working? What work? You never mentioned a new job." "I have a business now." She dropped her handbag on the couch. A new handbag, Obinna noticed. Expensive looking. Some of us have to hustle to keep this household running. "What kind of business?" "The kind that pays the bills." She'd walked past him toward the bathroom. "The kind that keeps you fed and housed. You should be thanking me instead of interrogating me like you have any right to question me. I'm your husband. I have every right." She'd whirled around, her face transforming into something ugly. "You have no rights, Obinna. You have no job. You have no money. You have no respect. You have nothing. I'm the one taking care of this house now. Me. So don't you dare act like you can tell me what to do or where to go." Obinna had stepped back, shocked by the venom in her voice. "If you don't like it," she continued, "you can leave." "Oh, wait, where would you go? Back to your mother's village? Back to selling oranges? No, you'll stay here and be grateful that I'm woman enough to carry a useless man." She'd slammed the bathroom door, and Obinna had heard the shower running for a long time. When she finally emerged, she'd gone straight to bed without another word. That night, lying next to a wife who felt like a stranger, Obinna had cried for the first time since his father's funeral. The pattern continued. Chidinma's wardrobe transformed. New clothes appeared, expensive ones. Designer shoes, gold jewelry. Her hair appointments became more frequent. She bought a new phone, a new laptop, new perfume. "How are you affording all this?" Obinna asked one evening. "My business is doing well," she replied without looking up from her phone. "Unlike some people, I know how to turn profit." She started treating him like a houseboy. "Obinna, make sure you wash those dishes. I'm tired from working all day." Or, "The bathroom needs cleaning. Since you're home all day doing nothing, you might as well make yourself useful." When his younger brother called to check on him, Chidinma had snatched the phone. "Your brother is fine. He's just taking a break from work. Yes, we're managing. I'm handling everything. No, we don't need help." She'd hung up and glared at Obinna. "Stop making me look bad to your family. If they find out you lost your job, they'll think I married a failure. I am your family." Obinna had protested weakly. "No," she'd said coldly. "You're my burden now." The psychological torture was systematic. In front of their neighbors, Chidinma played the suffering wife. "Oh, these days are hard, you know, but I'm managing. A woman must be strong for her household." The subtext was clear. My husband is failing, but I'm holding things together. Maman Kiru, their 67-year-old neighbor, had pulled Obinna aside one evening. "My son, what is happening? Your wife, she comes home very late now. Sometimes I see a big car dropping her off at the gate. She won't let the car come to the door. Is everything okay?" Obinna had wanted to confide in the old woman, but shame had sealed his lips. "We're fine, Mama. Just adjusting to some changes." Mama Nkiru had shaken her head. "I'm old, but I'm not blind. That woman is walking a dangerous path. Be careful, my son." But Obinna was trapped. He had no job, no savings, and nowhere to go. His pride wouldn't let him run home to his mother in the village. So he endured until the day Adiz called. "Ogo Obinna?" Her voice was hesitant. "I hope I'm not disturbing you." "Adiz!" Obinna felt a surge of relief at hearing a friendly voice. "No, not at all. How are you?" "I'm fine, sir. I wanted to check on you. Everyone at the office misses you. We know you didn't do what they said." Tears pricked Obinna's eyes. "Thank you. That means more than you know. Sir, can I ask you something?" "Of course. Do you remember the day before the investigation started? About 6 weeks ago?" Obinna thought back. It felt like a lifetime ago. "Not specifically." "Why?" "I saw your wife at the office that day. She was in the lobby, said she was bringing you lunch. But, sir, you were at the off-site strategy meeting in Victoria Island that whole day. I remember because I was supposed to present, and you weren't there to review my slides." Obinna's blood ran cold. "What?" "I thought it was strange, but I didn't think much of it then. But now, sir, why would she say she was bringing you lunch when you weren't even in the building?" The pieces began to shift in Obinna's mind. Chidinma at his office, the leak from his account, her strange lack of shock when he told her he was fired, her instant transformation into the breadwinner, like she'd been prepared. "Adiz!" Obinna's voice was shaking. "What time was this?" "Around 1 p.m. She was at the reception for maybe 15 minutes. Then she left." "Did anyone escort her upstairs?" "I don't know, sir. But should I check the security logs?" "No," Obinna said quickly. "Don't risk your job. But thank you. Thank you for telling me this." After he hung up, Obinna sat in the empty apartment, his mind racing. Chidinma had been at his office when he wasn't there. She knew his passwords. He'd given them to her years ago, back when he trusted her completely. "Just in case there's an emergency and you need to access my work email," he'd said. She'd been there. She could have accessed his computer. She could have... "No." Obinna shook his head. No, his wife wouldn't. She couldn't. This was Chidinma, the woman he'd married, the woman who'd promised to stand by him through everything. But that night, when Chidinma came home at 11 p.m. smelling of expensive cologne and wearing a new gold bracelet, Obinna looked at her and saw a stranger who might have destroyed his life on purpose. Wait, what? His wife was at his office the day of the leak when he was somewhere else. She had his passwords. This is getting suspicious. If you're starting to connect the dots, smash that like button and subscribe to Africantales by Zion. Drop a comment. Do you think she set him up? Next chapter reveals a shocking truth, and it's worse than you imagine. Share this video. Turn on notifications. Obinna's mental health was deteriorating. He'd lost 15 pounds. Dark circles ringed his eyes from sleepless nights. He'd started talking to himself, replaying the events over and over, trying to make sense of the senseless. Chidinma noticed but didn't care. If anything, she became crueler. One evening, she brought home a male friend. "This is Chief Damien," she announced as a portly man in an expensive Igbata walked into the apartment like he owned it. "He's been advising me on my business." Obinna stood up from the couch, confused and uncomfortable. "Good evening, Chief." The man barely acknowledged him, his eyes roaming over Chidinma with obvious appreciation. They sat in the living room for an hour, discussing business deals, while Obinna retreated to the bedroom, humiliated in his own home. "Make us some tea," Chidinma called out. Obinna emerged. "What?" "Tea. For our guest. Since you're not doing anything useful, the least you can do is be hospitable." Chief Damien chuckled. "No need to trouble him, my dear." "It's no trouble," Chidinma said sweetly. "My husband doesn't mind. Do you, Obinna?" The challenge in her eyes was clear. Refuse and creosote, or obey, and be humiliated further. Obinna made the tea with shaking hands. Later that night, after Chief Damien left, Chidinma had laughed. You should have seen your face. Like a houseboy serving his madam. Why are you doing this? Obinna's voice broke. Why are you treating me like this? Because you're useless, she replied casually, as if commenting on the weather. Because I've wasted too many years on you already. Because I can. The abuse escalated. She started bringing it up in front of their friends. Ah, Mary, you're so lucky your husband still works. Me, I'm carrying everything now. But what can I do? For better or worse, ABI? She'd say it with a smile, but the words cut Obinna deeply. His family started hearing rumors. His mother called, worried. Obinna, people are saying you lost your job. Is it true? Why didn't you tell me? Mama, And they say Chidinma is the one working now. Obinna, what is happening? It's complicated, Mama. Come home. Come back to the village. We'll figure it out. But Obinna couldn't bear the shame. His mother had been so proud of him. How could he return a failure? Then came the night that changed everything. Obinna woke at 2 a.m. to use the bathroom. As he passed through the living room, he heard Chidinma's voice. She was on the balcony. Phone pressed to her ear, speaking in hushed tones. Obinna froze. Don't worry, baby. Chidinma was saying, her voice soft in a way it never was with Obinna anymore. He's completely broken now. He won't dare leave or confront me. He has nowhere to go. Obinna's heart stopped. Yes, it worked perfectly, she continued. He still doesn't suspect a thing. Too stupid to put the pieces together. No, he won't find out. Even if he did, what could he do? He's nobody now. Powerless. She laughed. A genuine, happy laugh Obinna hadn't heard in months. I miss you too, baby. Tomorrow night? Yes. I'll tell him I'm working late. He doesn't question me anymore. He's too afraid I'll kick him out. Of course I love you. You know you're the only man I want. This is just temporary. Until we figure out the best way to... She stopped abruptly, sensing something. Chidinma turned, and her eyes met Obinna's through the glass door. For a moment, they stared at each other. Then Chidinma straightened, her face transforming from caught to defiant. I'll call you back, she said into the phone, then came inside. Who were you talking to? Obinna's voice was barely above a whisper. None of your business. Who is, baby? Who loves you? Who? His voice cracked. What worked perfectly? Chidinma set her phone down carefully. You really want to know? Tell me? Fine. She crossed her arms, facing him squarely. His name is Chief Dubamazekwe. He owns the Imperial Hotel chain. We've been together for 2 years. The world tilted. 2 years. Yes, 2 wonderful years with a real man. A man who knows how to provide. A man who treats me like the queen I am. You're having an affair? Obinna felt like he was drowning. It's not an affair, Obinna. It's a relationship. What we had, that was a fake thing. A placeholder until something better came along. Why didn't you just leave me? Chidinma tilted her head, considering. Because I need you. Need me? For what? For appearances. I'm a married woman. Respectable. Chief Dubam is also married. This arrangement works for both of us. I get the money and the lifestyle I deserve, and I get to maintain my reputation as a faithful wife. Obinna's legs gave out. He sank onto the couch. So you were planning to just keep us both? Him for money and me for show. Yes, it was working perfectly fine until you started getting suspicious. But even then, you're so weak now, what can you really do? She walked to the kitchen, poured herself water. The truth is, Obinna, I needed you manageable, controllable. As long as you had that job and that pride, you might have fought back or left. But now you need me. Now you have no choice but to stay and accept whatever I decide. The pieces clicked together in Obinna's mind. The job. He stood up, realization dawning like horror. The leak. You did it. You're the one who leaked those documents. Chidimma's face remained carefully neutral. Don't be ridiculous. You were at my office that day. You had my passwords. I visited to bring you lunch, she said smoothly, which I realized you didn't need since you weren't there. So I left. Stop trying to blame me for your own carelessness. I wasn't careless. Someone used my account to... You lost your job because you're incompetent. Chidinma's voice rose. Stop looking for excuses. Stop trying to make yourself feel better by blaming me. You failed. Obinna. You got caught doing something stupid. Probably trying to make extra money because you knew you weren't providing enough for me. That's on you. You're lying. You set me up. You destroyed my career so you could control me. Prove it. She smiled coldly. Oh, wait, you can't. Because you have no evidence, no resources, no power. You have nothing but accusations from a desperate, failed man. Gee, please. Obinna felt tears streaming down his face. Please tell me the truth. Did you do this to me? For a moment, something flickered in her eyes. Then it was gone, replaced by ice. You want the truth? Here it is. I'm done with you. I was done years ago. The only reason you're still here is because it's convenient for me. You're a placeholder. Obinna, a warm body to keep up appearances while I live my real life. Then let me go, divorce me, and split what little assets we have, give up this apartment, explain to everyone why we're divorcing, and risk people finding out about Dubum. She laughed. No, you'll stay. You'll stay because you have nowhere else to go. You'll stay because I'm paying for everything. You'll stay because you're too ashamed to run home to your village, and you're too broke to survive on your own. She walked toward the bedroom, then paused. And Obinna, if you try to leave, or if you try to tell anyone about Dubum, I'll tell everyone you've been beating me. I'll show bruises. Trust me, I know how to make it convincing. I'll destroy what little reputation you have left. Your family will disown you. No one will ever believe you again. She closed the bedroom door, and Obinna heard the lock click. He sat alone in the dark living room until sunrise, his mind shattered, his heart broken, his spirit crushed. His wife had destroyed his career. She'd manipulated him into dependence. She was having an affair and keeping him as a prisoner in his own marriage. And the worst part? She was right. What could he do? He had no proof, no money, no power. He was trapped, or so she thought, because what Chidimma didn't know was that Obinna had started recording conversations weeks ago, including tonight's. His phone had been in his pocket, recording everything. And what she also didn't know was that Adiz believed in him. Adiz had access to security logs. Adiz was willing to risk her job to find the truth. Obinna may have been broken, but he wasn't destroyed. Not yet. No way. She admitted to the affair. She basically confessed to setting him up, and she threatened him. If you're furious right now, smash that like button and subscribe to Africantales by Zion. Drop a comment. What would you do in Obinna's situation? Next chapter shows how he fights back, and you'll want to cheer. Share this. Turn on notifications. Obinna spent the next morning in the public library, using their computers. He couldn't risk using anything traceable at home. First, he emailed a recording of Chidimma's confession to 3 different email accounts he created. Insurance in case something happened to his phone. Then he called Adiz from a payphone. Sir, I was hoping you'd call back, she said. I've been thinking about what I told you, about seeing your wife. Sir, I think there's more to this. I know there is, Obinna said quietly. Adiz, I need your help. But I need you to understand, this could be dangerous for you. If they find out you're helping me, I don't care. Her voice was firm. You were the only manager who ever treated us junior staff like human beings. You mentored me. You believed in me when no one else did. If someone set you up, I want to help prove it. Thank you, Obinna whispered. What do you need me to do? The security logs. Can you access them without raising suspicion? I can try. The building security keeps digital records going back 6 months. What date should I look for? Obinna gave her the date Chidimma had visited, the day of the off-site meeting. I need to know if she went upstairs, if she accessed any restricted areas, any footage you can get. I'll see what I can do. Give me 2 days. Those 2 days were agony. Chidinma continued her routine, coming home late, flaunting her new lifestyle, treating Obinna with contempt. But now he watched her differently. He memorized details. He documented everything in a hidden notebook. When Adiz called again, her voice was shaking. "Sir, you need to see this. Can you meet me somewhere private?" They met at a small book cut in Surleer, far from both their neighborhoods. Adiz had a laptop and several printed documents. "Sir, I found something." She opened the laptop. Security footage from that day. Your wife arrived at 1:15 p.m. She spoke to reception, said she was bringing you lunch. "But I wasn't there." "Exactly. Look at this." She clicked through the footage. The receptionist, Bola, she called up to your floor to let you know your wife was here. When no one could find you, Bola told your wife you were off-site. But watch. The footage showed Chidinma nodding, thanking the receptionist, then not leaving. Instead, she walked toward the elevators. She went up anyway. Obinna breathed. "Yes, and here's where it gets interesting." Adiz pulled up another screen. "I accessed the digital access logs. Your security badge was used to access the senior management floor at 1:47 p.m. My badge? But I had my badge with me in Victoria Island." "I know. So, how did your badge get used here?" Adiz looked at him meaningfully. "She must have. Wait, I had 2 badges. The company issued me a backup. Last year, when I lost my original one. When it turned up, I kept both. One stayed in my desk drawer." "Bingo. She used your backup badge. She took the elevator to your floor, went to your office, and..." Adiz pulled up more logs. "Your computer was logged into at 2:03 p.m. Obinna's hands were shaking. She sent the emails. "There's more. Look at the IP logs from the email server." Adiz showed him a technical document. The leaked emails were sent at 2:47 a.m. Yes. But there was another access to your account at 2:03 p.m. on this date, the day your wife was in the building. That access was used to set up an automated send. The emails were scheduled to go out at 2:47 a.m. to make it look like you'd sent them during off hours from home. But the investigation only looked at when the emails were sent, not when they were scheduled. Exactly. And the IP address for the 2:03 p.m. access? It came from within the building, from your office. Obinna felt rage and vindication warring in his chest. She planned this. She came to my office, used my backup badge, logged into my computer, and scheduled those emails to be sent in the middle of the night. "Sir, there's one more thing." Adiz pulled out bank statements. "I shouldn't have access to these, but I have a friend in accounting. These are deposits into your joint account, the one you and your wife share." Obinna looked at the highlighted entries. Large deposits. 10 million naira, 5 million, 3 million, all from the same source. Ezekwe Holdings. "Who is that?" I did some research. Ezekwe Holdings is owned by Chief Dubum Ezekwe. He's the owner of Imperial Hotels. I know who he is. Obinna's voice was cold. "He's my wife's lover." Adiz's eyes widened. "Sir, these deposits..." The first big one was 2 weeks before your wife visited the office. The largest one, 10 million naira, came 3 days after you were fired. Payment. Obinna felt nauseous. He paid her to destroy my career. It looks that way. Obinna stared at the evidence. Security footage, access logs, IP addresses, bank statements. His wife had orchestrated everything. She'd been paid to ruin him. "Why?" he whispered. "Even if she wanted me jobless, why? Why would someone pay her to control?" Adiz said softly, "If you're jobless and dependent, you can't leave her. You can't question her. You can't stop her from whatever else she's doing." The cruelty of it overwhelmed him. Chidinma hadn't just betrayed him. She'd systematically destroyed his life as part of a calculated plan. "Sir, what are you going to do?" Obinna looked at the evidence, then at Adiz's concerned face. I'm going to take my life back. Over the next week, Obinna worked in secret. He hired a lawyer, using money borrowed from his younger brother. Money he'd been too proud to ask for until now. The lawyer, Barrister Okonkwo, was initially skeptical. Corporate espionage cases are difficult to overturn. The evidence against you was substantial. Look at this new evidence. Obinna spread everything across the lawyer's desk. For 2 hours, Barrister Okonkwo examined every document, every log, every receipt. When he finally looked up, there was fire in his eyes. This is criminal conspiracy, corporate espionage, fraud. We can not only clear your name, we can prosecute your wife. I don't just want to prosecute it. Obinna said quietly, I want everyone to know the truth. I want my job back. I want my life back. Then we go to Trans Global first. We present this evidence. We demand a full reinvestigation. They also hired a private investigator. Within days, the PI had photographs of Chidinma and Chief Dubum together, entering hotels, holding hands, kissing in expensive restaurants. The affair was real, extensive, and well documented. Obinna also set up recording devices in the apartment. Every conversation, every phone call, every cruel word Chidinma said was now captured. And then he waited for the right moment. It came 2 weeks later when Chidinma announced she'd be going on a business trip for 3 days. I need you to stay here and water my plants, she instructed. Don't touch anything else. And don't call me unless it's an emergency. The moment she left, Obinna acted. He went to Trans Global with Barrister Okonkwo and all the evidence. They met with Mr. Okonkwo, Mrs. Adeyemi, and the entire executive board. Gentlemen, ladies, Barrister Okonkwo began. We have evidence that Mr. Obinna Maduka was the victim of a conspiracy to destroy his career. Evidence that will shock you. For 3 hours, they presented everything. The security footage, the access logs, the timeline showing Chidinma in the building when Obinna was off-site, the backup badge, the scheduled email, the bank transfers, the photographs of the affair. By the end, Mr. Okonkwo was pale. This is, my God, Obinna, I don't know what to say. Say you believe me, Obinna replied. Say you'll clear my name. We need to verify all of this, but if it's accurate, and it appears to be, then you were gravely wronged. By us and by your wife. Mrs. Adeyemi was already on the phone with the legal team. We need to pursue charges against Mrs. Maduka and whoever paid her. This is corporate espionage, fraud. I want my job back, Obinna interrupted, with full back pay, and a public statement clearing my name. Mr. Okonkwo stood and extended his hand. You'll have it, all of it. Obinna, I apologize on behalf of this company. We failed you. The handshake felt like vindication, but Obinna wasn't done. His next stop was the police, where he filed a formal report against Chidinma and Chief Dubum for conspiracy, fraud, and corporate espionage. Then he filed for divorce. When Chidinma returned from her business trip 3 days later, she found the apartment empty of Obinna's belongings. On the kitchen table was a single envelope. Inside were divorce papers, copies of all the evidence, and a note. I know everything. The company knows everything. The police know everything. You destroyed my career, but you couldn't destroy me. You wanted me powerless, but you forgot that truth is the ultimate power. Enjoy the consequences of your choices. You won't hear from me again except through my lawyer. Chidinma's scream of rage could be heard 3 floors down. Yes, he found the proof. He got the evidence. He fought back. If you're celebrating right now, smash that like button and subscribe to Africantales by Zion. Drop a comment. Did you cheer when he left that note? The final chapter shows her complete downfall, and it's satisfying. Share this story. Turn on notifications. Trans Global Logistics held a press conference announcing that Obinna Maduka had been wrongfully terminated, that new evidence proved he'd been the victim of corporate espionage, and that the company would be pursuing legal action against those responsible. They publicly apologized and announced Obinna's reinstatement, not just his old position, but with a promotion to regional director. Mr. Maduka demonstrated integrity throughout this ordeal. Mr. Okonkwo told the gathered press. He maintained his innocence when it would have been easier to accept blame. He sought truth when it would have been easier to disappear. This company failed him, and we're committed to making it right. The business community buzzed. Who had set him up? Why? Within hours, investigative bloggers had the story. Social media erupted when the details leaked. A wife, her lover, a paid conspiracy to destroy her own husband's career. The photos of Chidinma and Chief Dubum. The bank transfers. Everything. Hashtag Justice for Obinna trended on Nigerian Twitter for 3 days. Chidinma's life unraveled spectacularly. Chief Dubum abandoned her instantly. When his own wife, Lady Ezekwe, saw the photos and bank records, she filed for divorce and demanded a massive settlement. The chief couldn't afford to be associated with Chidinma. He cut all contact, changed his numbers, and released a statement through his lawyer denying any knowledge of the corporate espionage plot. Chidinma tried calling him 147 times over 2 days. He never answered. The police investigation moved swiftly. With TransGlobal's cooperation and evidence, prosecutors had everything they needed. Chidinma was arrested at the apartment. Officers walking her out in handcuffs while neighbors watched and whispered. The charges were severe. Corporate espionage, fraud, conspiracy, unauthorized access to computer systems. Her lawyer told her she could face up to 7 years in prison. But I was just trying to help him become dependent, she'd sobbed during interrogation. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Ma'am, you systematically destroyed your husband's career for money. You accessed secure computer systems illegally. You leaked confidential documents worth millions. Trying to help isn't a defense. The court of public opinion was even harsher. Social media tore her apart. People found her Facebook, her Instagram, her LinkedIn. They commented on old photos of her and Obinna looking happy. She was planning to destroy him even then. Her friends vanished. The women she bragged about carrying her household now wanted nothing to do with the scandal. Group chats went silent when she posted. Invitations to parties dried up. Her family was devastating. Her father, a retired civil servant who prided himself on integrity, publicly disowned her. I raised no daughter who would do such wickedness. She is not my blood anymore. Her mother tried to be supportive at first, but even she broke down when the full extent of the plot emerged. Gee, how could you? How could you destroy a man who loved you? For money? For another man? Mama, I was unhappy. He wasn't providing enough. So you destroyed him? Instead of just leaving him like a normal person? Her mother had shaken her head, tears streaming. I don't know you anymore. The landlord evicted her. I don't want people associated with criminals in my property. Chidinma had to move back to a distant aunt's one-room apartment in Ajigunle, a far cry from the Lekki Phase 1 apartment she'd so enjoyed controlling. The aunt made her work for her keep, treating her like the house help she'd once treated Obinna as. Her business ventures collapsed. No one wanted to work with the woman who betrayed her own husband. Job applications were rejected. We can't hire someone with pending criminal charges for fraud and corporate espionage. She was broke, jobless, facing prison time, and alone. The divorce proceedings were brutal and public. Obinna's lawyer presented every piece of evidence in open court. The recordings of her cruel statements, the photos of her affair, the bank records showing payments, the digital forensics proving her guilt. Your Honor, Barrister Okonkwo addressed the judge. This woman didn't just cheat on her husband. She orchestrated the complete destruction of his career, his reputation, and his mental health. She did this with calculation and malice, all while pretending to be a supportive wife. She took money to betray him. She mocked him in his suffering. She threatened him when he discovered the truth. Chidinma's lawyer tried to argue for leniency, for understanding, for mercy. But the evidence was overwhelming. The judge's ruling was decisive. Divorce granted on ground of adultery, fraud, and cruelty. Chidinma received nothing. No alimony, no property settlement, nothing. The judge noted that her criminal acts invalidated any claims she might have had. You used your position as his wife to access his life and destroy it. The judge said coldly, You do not deserve to benefit from that position. Chidinma had collapsed in the courtroom, sobbing. This isn't fair. I'm losing everything. You chose this, the judge replied. You built this prison yourself. Meanwhile, Obina's life transformed. His first day back at Transglobal was overwhelming. His colleagues gave him a standing ovation when he walked into the office. Olga, welcome back. We knew you didn't do it. His new office as regional director was spacious, with a view of Lagos Harbor. His salary had doubled, but more than the money or the title. What mattered was his reputation being restored. Adiz was promoted to senior analyst, her reward for being brave enough to dig for truth. Thank you, sir, she'd said, tears in her eyes, for teaching me that integrity matters. Thank you, Obina replied, for believing in me when no one else did. He started therapy. The trauma of what Chidinma had done, the betrayal, the psychological abuse, the systematic destruction, had left deep scars. But slowly, week by week, Obina healed. He moved into a new apartment in Ikoyi, far from the memories of his old life. He decorated it simply but comfortably. It was his space, his sanctuary. He reconnected with his family. His mother cried when he visited the village. My son, I'm so sorry for what you suffered. But look at you now. You've risen. She tried to bury me, Mama, Obina said softly. She didn't know I was a seed. His brothers threw him a party. His old friends reached out, apologizing for distancing themselves. We didn't know what to believe. We should have trusted you. Obina forgave them. Bitterness was a poison, and he'd had enough poison in his life. 6 months after everything collapsed and rebuilt, Obina ran into Chidinma at Balagan Market. He was there buying fabrics for his mother. She was there with a battered purse, haggling desperately over the price of cheap Ankara. She saw him first. Her face transformed. Shock, shame, hope, desperation, all flashing in quick succession. Obina, she called out, rushing toward him. Obina, please, can we talk? He turned slowly. The woman in front of him looked nothing like the Chidinma who'd tormented him. Her clothes were cheap and worn. Her hair was in a simple cornrow, not the expensive style she'd favored. She'd lost weight, but not in a healthy way. She looked gaunt, stressed. Please, she grabbed his arm. Please, just 5 minutes. Obina gently removed her hand. There's nothing to discuss. I'm sorry. The words tumbled out. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I was evil. I don't know what I was thinking. Please, I've lost everything. My family won't speak to me. I'm living in one room in Ajigunal. I can't find work. Please, if you could just tell people to forgive me. Tell the company to drop the charges. Please. Obina looked at her, really looked at her. He searched inside himself for anger, for hatred, for satisfaction at her downfall. But all he felt was a calm, settled peace. Chidinma, he said quietly, you didn't just betray me. You tried to destroy me. You took money to ruin my career. You mocked me when I was at my lowest. You called me useless, a failure, a burden. You made me feel like I was nothing. I know, but I've suffered now. Haven't I suffered enough? That's not for me to decide. Obina stepped back. The company will pursue charges because you committed crimes. I won't ask them to stop because you deserve to face consequences. Your family disowned you because of your choices, not mine. You're in that one-room apartment because you gambled everything on a man who abandoned you the moment things got difficult. Ironic, isn't it? That's exactly what you wanted me to be. Please. She was crying now. I'm begging you. You wanted me broken and dependent. Obina continued, his voice steady. You wanted me powerless so you could control me. You thought if you took away my job, my dignity, my options, I'd have no choice but to accept whatever you decided my life should be. I was wrong. You were cruel. There's a difference. Being wrong is a mistake. What you did was calculated wickedness. He looked at her with clear eyes, no anger, no hatred, just clarity. You tried to bury me. Chidinma, you dug the hole yourself. You pushed me in. You covered me with dirt. But you forgot something important. What? She whispered. Real men don't stay down. We rise. And the truth? The truth always rises too. He turned to walk away. What am I supposed to do now? She called after him desperately. Obinna paused, looked back one last time. Live with your choices. Learn from them. Maybe become a better person, though that's up to you. But don't expect me to save you from consequences you brought on yourself. I spent months being your victim. I'm not spending one more second being your savior. He walked away, his steps light, his heart lighter. Behind him, Chidinma collapsed against a market stall, sobbing. Other shoppers gave her a wide berth, whispering about that woman who destroyed her husband. Obinna drove home to his new apartment, where he had plans to host dinner for Adiz and some colleagues. His calendar was full with work projects, real work, meaningful work, work that was rebuilding industries. He'd started dating someone new, slowly, carefully, with eyes wide open. A lawyer named Ngozi who'd heard his story and admired how he'd fought back. You didn't just survive, she told him on their second date. You overcame. That takes real strength. That evening, Obinna stood on his balcony, looking out over Lagos. The city glittered with lights, full of possibility. His phone buzzed. A message from his mother. Obinna, a family friend, has a daughter who's a doctor. She's single. Can I give her your number? He smiled. His mother would never stop matchmaking. Another message from Adiz. Sir, the new shipping route launch is trending. They're calling it the most successful contract negotiation in company history. You did it. He had done it. He'd taken back not just his job, but his dignity, his peace, his future. Chidinma had tried to write the ending to his story, an ending where he stayed broken, dependent, controlled. But she'd forgotten that he'd always been the author of his own life. She'd just been a chapter, a dark, painful chapter. But the book wasn't over, and the best pages were still ahead. Obinna raised his glass of water in a silent toast to himself, to truth, to justice, to the power of refusing to stay buried, to rising, he whispered to the Lagos night. And somewhere in that vast city, in a one-room apartment in Ajigunle, Chidinma lay on a thin mat, staring at the ceiling, living with the prison she'd built for herself. Karma, it turned out, was a patient and thorough architect. He won. He completely won. She lost everything while he got his life back and more. If this ending gave you chills and made you believe in justice, smash that like button and subscribe to Africantales by Zion. Drop a comment. What part of this story hit you the hardest? Share this with someone who needs to remember that real strength means rising again. Turn on all notifications for more powerful stories like this. Thank you for being part of our Africantales family. Remember, they can try to bury you, but if you're a seed, you'll rise.